Hi, this is Naomi with Sword and Steel, and if you have not seen all of the data sheets on the current point costs, the videos for that part 1 and part 2 will be in the description. This video is just going to be going over the detachment rules based on the new information we have from the codex. The codex is not out yet, but soon will be, so let's have some fun going over the detachment rules. I'm not able to show them to you, but I can chat to you about them. So you really don't have to watch this video. You kind of get to just listen to it. So, you can do stuff while you're listening. I hope you enjoy. The first detachment rule is called the War Horde, and its detachment rule is get stuck in. Melee weapons equipped by orcs models from your army have the sustained hits ability. That is a great ability to go with. And then it has 4 different enhancements. Follow Me Lads is 15 points. Orcs model only while the bearer is leading a unit. Add 2 inches to the move characteristic of models in that unit. 15 points, possibly worth it. Head Wappa's Kill Choppa is 10 points. Orc model only. Melee weapons equipped by the bearer, excluding extra attack weapons, have the Devastating Wounds ability. That's alright. Want someone who has a bunch of melee weapons, of course, but 10 points, yeah, I can see that being nice. Cunning but Brutal, 20 points. Orc model only while the bearer is leading a unit. The unit is eligible to shoot and declare a charge in a turn in which it fell back. That could certainly be worth that. That could certainly be worth 20 points. Super Cyborg Body. Orcs model only. The bearer has the Feel No Pain 4+ ability. Could be really mean. Don't know whether I'd want it for 25 points. But hey, maybe. Kareen, 1 command point. Any phase just after an Orcs vehicle unit from your army with the Deadly Demise ability is destroyed. That destroyed Orcs vehicle unit, if you rolled a 6 for its Deadly Demise ability, so if it were going to be destroyed, if it were going to explode, you can use this stratagem on the unit even though it was destroyed. Your unit can make a normal or fallback move before its Deadly Demise ability is resolved and before any embarked units perform an emergency disembarkation. When making this move, your unit can move over enemy units, excluding monsters and vehicles, as if they were not there. So that's really nice. You can, if you think you're going to destroy, if you are going to blow up, you can move yourself so that you're blowing up in a more advantageous position. I like that just fine. That's nicer than just, well, maybe it's not nicer than the Tyrannid's ability to blow up on command. No, it's not nicer, but it's nice. Particularly since you could kill an awful lot of orcs depending on where you're located. So, 1 command point. Your opponent's shooting phase or fight phase just after an enemy unit has selected its targets. 1 orcs unit from your army, excluding Grot's monster and vehicle units that was selected. Until the end of the phase, each time an attack targets your unit, subtract 1 from the wound roll. So, Arda's Nails, it's called. That's always nice. Orcs is never beaten. 2 command points. In the fight phase, just after an enemy unit has selected its targets. 1 Orcs unit that was selected by that enemy. Until the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit is destroyed, you get to attack. You get to attack for 1 more time before it's destroyed. That's easy enough, and you could probably often use that. 1 Orcs unit. Yeah. So that's nice. 1 command point. End of your command phase. 1 mob unit from your army that contains 10 or more models and is not below half strength. Select 1 friendly battle-shocked Orcs infantry unit within 6 inches of that mob unit. The Orcs infantry unit is no longer battle-shocked. Very specific. On the other hand, Orcs probably have terrible battle shock rules, but very specific. 1 command point. This is Unbridled Carnage in the fight phase. one Orks unit from your army that has not been selected to fight this phase until the end of the phase. Each time a model in your unit makes a melee attack and an unmodified hit roll of 5 plus scores a critical hit, which works very nicely with the detachment rule of sustained hits 1, because sustained hits 1 is critical hits deal an extra attack. Will deal an extra hit, so that would be all. A very often used one in the fight phase. I'd use it all the time. Yeah. Okay. And here we go. 1 command point. Start of your movement phase. 1 Orcs infantry unit from your army. Until the end of the turn, add 2 to advance and charge rolls made by your unit. That's always good because clearly these guys want to get into melee range, and so it's worth the command point to make certain they do so. Start of your movement phase. So you have to have chosen that long before you would actually make any rolls. And I'm just double checking that I'm correct with the sustained hits, just in case. But I'm sure. I mean, we think unmodified rolls of 6, but I think it's, yeah, critical hit. That's what I thought. But it's just for critical hit, so I'm right. Because that's a really nice. That Unbridled Carnage for 5 plus on critical hits works lovely with sustained hits. Very nice. And there's ways in some of the models to gain yourself some lethal hits too. So nice. Nasty. So that was War Horde. The next detachment is the Big Hunt. The detachment rule is the hunt is on. At the start of your command phase, select 1 monster, vehicle, or warlord unit from your opponent's army. If your opponent does not have any of these on the battlefield or embarked with a transport that is within a transport that is on the battlefield, you can select one character unit from your opponent's army instead. Right, at the start of your command phase, so could have killed their warlord. Until the start of your next command phase, that enemy is your prey. Each time a beast snag unit from your army declares a charge on that prey, you can reroll the charge roll. Nice. Each time a beast snag model from your army makes an attack on that prey, improve the armor pen by 1. Lovely. That's always nice. Reroll the charge roll, improve the armor pen by 1. Take out big baddies, which is what the beast snaggers could be good for. Cool. Beast boss on Squigosaur model only. This is the enhancements. The Glory Hog is 30 points. Models in the Bear's unit have the Scout's 9 inches ability. I could probably see that being worth 30 points. Scooting your guys 9 inches forward is worth 30 points if you're grabbing objectives. Trying to get into melee fast. I could see that definitely being worth 30 points. A Scrag every stash. Beast snag model only. At the end of your command phase, if the bear is within range of an objective marker you control, that objective marker remains under your control. Right, so it's sticky objectives, even if you have no models within range of it until your opponent controls it at the start or end of any turn. Great. So sticky objectives, that is great for melee. A melee-based army, since you really want to rush forward. So that's lovely. Proper killy. Beast snag model only. Oh, and the Scrag every stash was 25 points. I'd consider that worth it as well. Yeah. Proper killy is 15 points. Beast snag model only. Add 1 to the damage characteristic of melee weapons equipped by the bearer. Damage characteristic. Alright. Surly as a Squigoth. I'd probably forego that one myself, but Surly as a Squigoth. 20 points, currently anyway. A beast boss on Squigosaur model only. While the bearer is leading unit, each time an attack targets that unit, if the strength characteristic of that attack is greater than the toughness characteristic of that unit, subtract 1 from the wound roll. Not to be underestimated. That's great. gives you, what, 17% extra chance to not have the wound succeed. Seems good to me. The stratagems for this: drag it down 1 command point. When the fight phase, 1 beast snag a unit from your army that has not been selected to fight this phase. Until the end of the phase, melee weapons equipped by models in your unit have the sustained hits 1 ability. And yeah, okay. In addition, each time a model in your unit makes a melee attack that targets your prey, a critical hit is scored on an unmodified hit roll of 5+ instead of only on a 6. Nice. That's the second way that has happened. Crits on 5s instead of 6s with sustained hits ability in the same time. Cool. Where do you think you're going? 1 command point. When your opponent's movement phase just after an enemy ends a fallback move. Well, that's very, very specific. 1 Beast Snaga infantry or Beast Snaga mounted unit from your army that was within engagement range of that enemy unit at the start of the phase. If your unit is not within engagement range of 1 or more enemy units, it can make a normal move of up to 6 inches. Okay. Very specific, of course, but sure, that works. Okay, Unstoppable Momentum. 1 command point. When you charge phase, just after a Beast Snaga mounted unit from your army ends a charge move. The target is the Beast Snaga movement. The Beast Snaga unit. Select 1 enemy unit within engagement range of your unit and roll 1d6 for each model in your unit. For each 4+, that enemy unit suffers 1 mortal wound to a maximum of 6 mortal wounds. If that enemy unit is your prey, roll 3 additional d6s. Cool. 4+ to a maximum of 6. If the enemy unit is your prey, roll 3 additional 6s. Your charge just after ends a charge move. Nice. Yeah, that's nice. Stalking Tactics. 1 command point. Your opponent's shooting phase just after an enemy unit has selected its targets. 1 Beast Snaga infantry or Beast Snaga mounted. These are all Beast Snaga. Yep, every single one is a Beast Snaga. Well, not choose this one if you don't have any Beast Snagas. So, your opponent's shooting phase just after the enemy unit has selected its targets. 1 Beast Snaga infantry or Beast Snaga mounted unit from your army that was selected as the target of 1 or more of the attacking unit's attacks. Until the end of the phase, each time a ranged attack targets your unit, models in your unit have the benefit of cover against that attack. In addition, if your unit has the infantry keyword, until the end of the phase, models in your unit have the stealth. So you gain the benefit of cover, which is +1 to your save, and the stealth, which is -1 for their hit. So perfectly nice. Yeah, why not? And there are a bunch of different models that I don't know if the Beast Snag in particular ones do, but I know there are models that allow you to use stratagems on them, even if this stratagem had already been used before. So good. That one's even bigger. 1 command point. Your charge phase. 1 Beast Snag a unit from your army. Until the end of the phase, your unit is eligible to charge in a turn in which it advanced or fell back, provided 1 of the targets of that charge is your prey. That's easy enough. And that's always nice. It's great that there is aid to get your melee units into combat, to turn off or at least inhibit their ability to shoot you. Nice. Instinctive Hunters. 1 command point. End of your opponent's fight phase. 1 Beast Snag a unit from your army that is not within engagement range of 1 or more enemy unit. Remove your unit from the battlefield and place it into strategic reserve. The end of your opponent's fight phase. Oh, okay, so end of your opponent's fight phase right before their turn is technically at an end. You scoot it out and put it into strategic reserve so that on your turn you can put it back into play somewhere else. Keeping in mind the the limitations based on the turn or the round that it is for leaving strategic reserves. Okay. Cult of Speed. Speed freaks. That's why we've got all these new speed freaks. Speed freaks units from your army are eligible to shoot in a turn in which they advanced or fell back. Lovely. That's just lovely. You can understand then why the firing decks have gone down or disappeared in some cases. Because that's great. Alright, Deathkiller Wartrike model. This is an enhancement that costs 10 points at the moment. In your shooting phase, after the bearer's unit has shot, if it is not within engagement range of one or more enemy units, it can make a normal move of up to 6 inches. If it does, until the end of the turn, it's not eligible to declare a charge. Very specific when you would want to do that. I suppose faster than use, which is 35 points. That's an expensive one. Shares the most expensive cost. Ork infantry model only. Each time the bearer's unit disembarks from a transport after that transport has made a normal move, the bearer's unit is still eligible to declare a charge this turn. Nice. Makes sense why it would be 35 points. Seems good. All right. Squig hide tires. Deathkiller Wartrike model only. Each time a model in the bearer's unit makes a consolidation move, it can move up to 6 inches instead of 3 inches. Well, that's always nice. It only costs, what does it cost? Why do I keep losing it? Squig hide tires, 15 points. Okay. I don't know whether it's important enough for the 15 points, but I mean, if you had extra 15 points, you could definitely put that in. Ork models only. In your command phase, if the bearer or a transport the bearer is embarked within is within 9 inches of one or more enemy units, roll a d6 on a 3+, you gain 1 command roll. That's nice. I mean, it is speed makes right. It's 25 points. If you have 25 points, it's always nice to get command points, and these stratagems are, well, we haven't seen the stratagems for this particular one, but stratagems are generally nice to use. Let's see what they do. So, speediest freaks, 1 command point. When your opponent's shooting phase or the fight phase just after an enemy unit has selected its target, 1 speed freaks or truck unit from your army that was selected as the target of one or more of the attacking unit's attacks. Until the end of the phase, models in your units have a 5+ invuln save. I suppose most of the speed freaks might have a 6+ invuln save. I didn't see many that didn't have invuln saves, but now they have a 5+ invuln save. If your unit is a vehicle unit with an unmodified toughness characteristic of 8 or less, until the end of the phase, models in your unit have a 4+ invuln save instead. Nice. Speediest fricks. Blitzer fire, 1 command point. When your shooting phase, target 1 speed freaks unit from your army that has not been selected to shoot this phase. The effect is until the end of the phase. Ranged weapons equipped by models in your unit have the lethal hits ability, which is always nice. Each time a model in your unit makes an attack that targets a unit within 9 inches, a critical hit is scored on an unmodified hit roll of 5+ instead of only a 6. So lethal hits on 5s and 6s. And sustained hits, if you happen to have anyone that has sustained hits, would be on 5s and 6s too. Nice. A unit cannot be targeted by this and the Daka Storm stratagem at the same time. Okay. You can't give stratagem. The Daka Storm stratagem gives sustained hits, so it doesn't allow you to so easily combine those two, which makes sense. I definitely would have. We'll get to that one in a second. Squig flingin', 1 command point. When your movement phase just after a speed freaks or truck unit from your army ends a normal advance or fallback move, the target is the speed freaks or trucks unit. Select 1 enemy unit within 9 inches of your unit. that enemy unit must take a battle shock test, and when doing so, subtract 1 from the result. And the reason you might want to do that, from what I can see for this particular army, is that you just want to get have a chance that they will become battle shocked and you get the objective. So certainly useful. Full throttle. When your charge phase, 1 command point, just after a Speed Freaks unit from your army ends a charge move. The target is the Speed Freaks unit. Until end of the turn, each time a model in your unit makes a melee attack, add 1 to the wound roll. Perfect. Always nice to have. Daka Storm, 1 command point, when your shooting phase. 1 Speed Freaks unit, not selected to attack, to shoot this phase. Until the end of the phase, ranged weapons equipped by models in your unit have the sustained hits ability. While targeting a unit within 9 inches, though, they have the sustained hits ability. They have sustained hits 2 ability instead. Sustained hits 1, sustained hits 2. And you cannot target, the unit can't have Blitz of Fire and Dagger Storm at the same time. It reiterates. More gets over ear. 1 command point. Your opponent's movement phase just after an enemy unit makes a normal advance or fall back move. Target 1 Speed Freaks unit from your army that is within 9 inches of the enemy unit, but not within engagement range of 1 or more enemy units. Your unit can make a normal move of up to 6. Cool. I think my favorite part is are eligible to shoot in a turn in which they advanced or fell back. Some of these Speed Freaks have some awfully nasty shooting options. Dread Mob. I assume this is what you put. Yep, mechs. Try that button. Each time a mech, Orks Walker, or Grot's vehicle unit from your army is selected to shoot or fight, roll 1d6 until the end of the phase. Weapons equipped by models in that unit have the corresponding abilities shown in the table below. 1 to 2, sustain hits 1. 3 to 4, lethal hits. 5 to 6, each time an attack is made with this weapon on a critical wound, improve the armor pen by 2. Alternatively, when such a unit is selected to shoot or fight, you can select one of the abilities above instead of rolling the d6. If you do, until the end of the phase, weapons equipped by models in that unit have the hazardous ability as well, which, sometimes could be certainly worth it. I mean, they're orcs. What do they care about hazards? If a weapon equipped by a model from your army has the hazardous ability from multiple sources, each time you take a hazardous test for that weapon, it is failed on a roll of 1 or 2. Something to consider. And Gretchens are battle line in this group. Okay, so the enhancement, Smoky Gibbons. Smoky Gibbons is 15 points at the moment. Mech model only. Models in the bearer's unit have the stealth ability. That's always nice, because this mechs are... You want the mechs to get into melee combat, generally speaking, so stealth is always nice. Super Glowy Thing. The Super Glowy Thing costs 20 points currently. Mech model only. In your command phase, select 1 enemy unit within 18 inches of and visible to the bearer. Then roll 1d6. On a 1 to 2, the enemy unit must take a battle shock test. Always nice for stealing objectives. On a 3 to 4, the enemy unit suffers d3 mortal wounds. On a 5 to 6, until the start of your next command phase, each time a model in that unit makes an attack, subtract 1 from the hit roll. Nice. Model. Probably. I mean, if you had 20 points, why not? Press it faster. Press it faster costs 35 points. So quite expensive. What in the world could it do? Mech model only. Each time the bearer's unit is selected to shoot, when rolling to determine which ability that unit's weapon gains from the try that button detachment rule, which remember is you roll a d6 and get sustained hits 1 or lethal hits or armor pen increase of 2 on critical wounds. Okay. Detach. Roll 1 additional d6. Until the end of the phase, ranged weapons equipped by models in that unit gain both button effects generated by those rolls. If a duplicate button effect is rolled, it has no additional effect. 35 points. I mean, it's just the bearer's unit, but the bearer's unit being a mech could be pretty nasty. Sustained hits 1 and lethal hits at the same time, with possible ways to make your critical. I'm not certain. I'd have to read back, but there might be. Oh, this is critical wounds. Well, there might be ways. In the other ones, there's ways to do critical wounds on 5s instead of 6s. I can't remember if there's a model specifics that does that, though. But that'd be neat. Maybe. For 35 points, maybe, but I mean, you might want to add. What can you get for 35 points? You might just want to add something else, though. Guess you can't get anything for 35 points. No, can't get anything for 35 points. But I don't know whether I'd want to go with that or not. I'm not sure. Git Finder Goggles, which is 10 points. Mech model. Ranged weapons equipped by models in the bearer's unit have the Ignores cover ability. Always nice. So the stratagems for this detachment. Clanking Claws. 1 command point when the fight phase. Target 1 Orks Walker unit from your army that has not been selected to fight this phase. Effect. Each time you use this stratagem, you can choose to push it. Until the end of the phase, add 2 to the strength characteristic of melee weapons equipped by models in your unit, and if you choose to push it, until the end of the turn, add 1 to the damage characteristic, and they have the hazardous ability as well. I'd probably go with that. I'd probably push it. Push my luck. I'd probably push it. Daka daka daka. 1 command point. Your shooting phase. The target is 1 Orks Walker or Grot's vehicle unit from your army that has not been selected to shoot this phase. Each time you use this stratagem, you can choose to push it. Pushing your luck again. Until the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit makes an attack, reroll hit rolls of 1. No, sorry, reroll a hit roll of 1. If you choose to push it, you can reroll the hit roll instead. And until the end of the phase, ranged weapons equipped by models in your unit have the hazardous ability as well. I would totally push it. 100%. Yep. Pushing my luck every which way. Super Fueled Boiler. 1 command point. Your movement phase just after an Orks Walker unit has been selected to advance. That Orks Walker unit is the target, and until the end of the turn, you can reroll advance rolls made by your unit, and ranged weapon equipped by models in your unit have the assault ability. That's nice. That's a super nice stratagem. Absolutely. That's a great one. Should probably be used all the time. Unless, I guess you have a heavy weapon, but I don't remember reading many heavy weapons on the walkers, so. I think that's very nice. Okay. Conniving Runts. 1 command point. When your opponent's movement phase just after an enemy unit ends a normal advance or fallback move. Target 1 Gretchen unit from your army that is within 9 inches of that enemy unit and not within engagement range of any enemy units. Effect. Roll 1d6 on a 4+. The enemy unit suffers d3 plus mortal wounds, and your unit can then make a normal move. How interesting. 2 to 4 mortal wounds. And your unit can make a normal move. That seems nice. Worth it. Bigger shells for bigger gits. 1 command point. When you're shooting phase, the target is 1 mech, Orks Walker, or Grot's vehicle unit from your army that has not been selected to shoot this phase. The effect. Each time you use this stratagem, you can choose to push it. Until the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit makes an attack that targets a monster or a vehicle, add 1 to the wound roll. If you choose to push it, add 1 to the damage characteristic of that attack until the end of the phase. And until the end of the phase, ranged weapons equipped by models in your unit have the hazardous ability as well. Yep. Still push it. Yep. Extra damage. gets a monster vehicle, you want to take that thing out because it could take you out. So absolutely, take out things that can take you out. I mean, your hazardous ability could take you out, but I chance it. Extra gubbins. 1 command point. When your opponent's shooting phase, just after an enemy unit has selected its targets. The target is 1 Orks Walker or Grot's vehicle from your unit, excluding Titanic units, that was selected as the target of 1 or more of the attacking unit's attacks. Until the end of the phase, each time an attack is allocated to a model in your unit, subtract 1 from the damage characteristic of that attack. That could be very nice. Yeah. Yeah, that's great. Particularly against something like it that has 2 damage. I mean, not always great, but... Wow, I just realized that most of these don't have any, like... No, you can't use this on a Stompy. But you can use this on a Stompa. Most of these, other than the extra gubbins. So that was that for that one. For if you love your orc mechs. I personally do like my orc mechs. On the other hand, all of those speed freaks guys, they look super cute. In orky fashion. Greentide. Each time, so Greentide has the mob mentality detachment rule. Each time an attack targets a boy's unit from your army, models in that unit have a 5+ invuln save against that attack. In addition, each time an attack targets an orcs unit from your army, if it contains 10 or more models, reroll a save roll of 1 made against that attack. Alright. If you want a lot of boys, I suppose. Ferocious show off 10 points. Orcs infantry model only. Each time the bearer fights while resolving those attacks, add 1 to the strength characteristic of the bearer's melee weapons. If the bearer unit contains 10 or more models while resolving those attacks, add 3 to the strength characteristic instead. So I guess if you're leading a unit, infantry models. Cool. Brutal but cunning. 25 points. Orcs infantry model in your command phase. If the bearer is on the battlefield or is embarked within a transport that is on the battlefield, roll 1d6, adding 2 to the result. If the bearer's unit contains 10 or more models on a 5+, you gain 1 command point. I mean, I suppose. Brutal but cunning, 25 points. I suppose it's always nice. Add 2. So if you're playing this, you'd probably have big units. Sure. And command point's always nice. On a 3+ with bigger units. Yeah. Bloodthirsty Belligerence. Orcs infantry model only. Costs 15 points. While the bearer is leading a unit, you can reroll advanced rolls made for that unit. While that unit contains 10 or more models, you can reroll charge rolls made for that unit as well. Raucous Warcolor. Orcs infantry model. While the bearer is leading a unit, that unit always counts as containing 10 or more models for the purpose of your detachment rule and any stratagems you use. Oh. Huh. 20 points. I mean, I guess. Sure. Alright, the stratagems. Competitive streak. 1 command point. Fight phase. 1 boys unit that has not fought yet. Until the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit makes an attack, reroll a wound roll of 1. If your unit contains 10 or more models, reroll the wound roll instead. Yeah, so I think you would be regularly having 10 or maybe 20, just so that as soon as you're low strength, you aren't losing all of these benefits. So probably 20. Groups of 20. Also allows you to have more boys. Okay. Reroll the wound roll instead. Come on, lads. 1 command point. When your command phase. Target 1 boy's unit. Effect. Return up to D3+2 destroyed models to your unit, excluding character models. Well, you know you're going to be doing that every turn. That's nice. So minimum. So it's 4 to 5 destroyed models to your unit. 4 to 5 boys. Well then, for 1 command point, excluding character models, well, of course. Well then, that is nasty. I mean, really easy to kill boys. But if you have a lot of them, in a Greentide, Tide of Muscle, 1 command point, your charge phase. Target 1 boy. It's a unit that hasn't declared charge yet. Until the end of the phase, each time your unit declares a charge, add the current battle round number to the charge roll. Alright. Bulldozer Brutality, 1 command point, fight phase. Target 1 boys that has not selected to be fight and is within engagement range. Until the end of the phase, each time your unit is selected to fight, when determining which model in your unit are eligible to fight, any models in your units that are within 3 inches of 1 or more enemy models are eligible to fight. Nice! When resolving those attacks, such models can target one of those enemy units that is within 3 inches of them and within engagement range of their unit. Okay, so yeah, the boys can extend their reach. Perfect. Because there's gonna be so many of them. That's nice. Okay. Go get 'em! 1 command point. Your opponent's shooting phase just after an enemy unit has selected its targets. Target 1 boy's unit from your army that was selected. Effect: after the attacking unit has shot, your unit can make a go get 'em move. To do so, roll 1d6. Each model in your unit can move a distance of inches up to the result, but your unit must end that move as close as possible to the closest enemy unit. When doing so, those models can be moved within engagement range of that enemy unit. If your unit contains 10 or more models, it can be moved up to 6 inches, making that move instead. So instead of rolling up to the result, it can immediately be rolling up to 6 inches. Just after. Yeah, so you should still be able to shoot at them. But if they get into melee combat, then they're going to attack back. So that's cool. And there'll be no charging, so they'll attack first. Cool. Bragging rights. 1 command point. When your command phase. Target 2 boys from your army that are within 6 inches of each other. Until the start of your next command phase, while those 2 units are within 6 inches of each other, they both count as having 10 or more models for the purpose of your detachment rule, any enhancement models from your army, and any stratagems you use. Cool. That's nice. Nice way to definitely ensure that you've got 10 or more models. I'm not sure if I'm excited about that as I am some of the other ones, but if you like playing a Greentide, there you go. A lot of little bonuses. Do like the returning 4 to 5 models every turn. It's definitely alright. Bully boys! What are we dealing with? War bosses, knobs, and mega knobs. Okay. The boss is watching. At the start of a battle round in which you have not called a war, if you have 1 or more war boss models on the battlefield or embarked within a transport that is on the battlefield, you can call a war for a second time this battle. When doing so, that second war only counts as having been called for war boss, knobs, and mega knobs units from your army. Okay. So, Teleporta, 25 points. Warboss and Mega Armor model only. Models in the Bear's unit have the Deep Strike ability. That could definitely be handy, particularly since some of these might be slow moving. That could be handy for 25 points. Big Gob. Big Gob, 20 points. Infantry Warboss model only. At the start of the fight phase, select 1 enemy unit within engagement range of the Bear. That unit must take a battle shock test, and when doing so, subtract 1 from the result. That's always nice. For 20 points. The biggest boss is 15 points. You add 2 to the Bear's wounds characteristic. Infantry war boss only. Ed Stampa is 10 points. Infantry war boss model only. Each time the Bear makes an attack that targets a unit that is below its starting strength, reroll a wound roll of 1. If that unit is below half strength, you can reroll the wound roll instead. I like that one. Bearer. Oh, that's only for that particular person rather than a unit, but it could do. Now we're on to the stratagems. Armed to the teeth, 1 command point. When your shooting phase or the fight phase, target 1 Knobs or Mega Knobs unit from your army that has not been selected to shoot or fight this phase. Until the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit makes an attack, reroll a hit roll of 1 if a wall is active for your unit. And you can do a second wall. You can reroll the hit roll instead. It's always nice. Crushing Impact, 1 command point. When your charge phase, just after a Knobs has ended a charge move. Knobs or Mega Knobs. Target that Knobs or Mega Knobs unit. Effect, select 1 enemy unit within engagement range of your unit, then roll 1d6 for each model in your unit that is within engagement range of that enemy unit. For each 5+, the enemy suffers 1 mortal wound to a maximum of 6 mortal wounds. If a wall is active, the enemy suffers 1 mortal wound for each 4+ instead of 5+. 2. Arrogant to die, 1 command point. Your opponent's shooting phase or the fight phase, just after an enemy unit has selected its target. The target is 1 Knobs or Mega Knobs unit that was selected. Effect, until the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit is destroyed, if that model has not shot or fought this phase, roll 1d6, adding 2 if there's a wog active. On a 5+, do not remove the destroyed model from play. It can go ahead and attack or shoot, and then is removed from play. Cut M down, 1 command point. I mean, that's always nice. Cut M down, 1 command point. Your opponent's movement phase just after an enemy unit is selected to fall back. 1 Knobs or Mega Knobs within engagement range. When that enemy unit falls back, all models in that enemy unit must make a desperate escape test. When doing so, if wall is active for your unit, subtract 1 from each of those tests. I mean, it's minor. I don't know whether you'd often, well, I guess you wouldn't really often do it at all, but I don't know whether you'd even choose to do that for 1 command point. But if you had extra command points, sure. Always looking for a fight, 1 command point. When fight phase, just after an enemy unit is destroyed, target 1 Knobs or Mega Knobs unit that destroyed that enemy unit. Effect, until end of the phase, each time your unit makes a consolidation move, it can move d3 plus 3. If a wog is active for your unit, it can move up to 6 inches instead of the regular 3 inches. Hulking Brutes, 1 command point. When your opponent's shooting phase, just after an enemy unit has selected its targets. Target 1 Knobs or Mega Knobs unit that was selected. Effect, until the end of the phase, each time an attack targets your unit, worsen the armor pen of that attack by 1. Certainly could help. Yeah, it certainly could help. And that is the detachment rules. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Make certain to like if you did and you found this useful, because this took a while. And comment below if you had any questions. And remember, if you didn't see any of the other videos, you should check that in the description. And if you want to become a patron, like any of these fine members, I very much appreciate your support. If you also wanted to become a patron, I'm going to be working hard this year, so it would be great to have your support for that. That information about that will be in the comments below. Okay, bye!